This is definitely my least favorite room
Why?
because of all of the shit behind me.
I think it's cool. It's like being in the show Silent Library.
Oh my gosh, that show is amazing.
Never seen that before.
Oh my gosh, let's make them do some crazy, challenge, and you can't.
I break out the cards
Yes.
with all the skulls on them.
If you've never seen that, oh my gosh, got to go home and do that.
It was like less intense than Jackass, but at a library, and you couldn't make sound. And if you made too much sounds, then like you had to do a punishment.
Yeah, but like you had to like do like all these like pranks and stuff that like really hurt, or like something you had to eat, or something like disgusting.
Like you had to get smacked in the face with a book like 4 times by an old grandma and not flinch
laugh.
or something.
Yeah,
yeah,
and, like,
yeah.
No laughing. There's like a sound meter, and you're like with your buddies. So like this is all going down, and it's hilarious for the person watching. And it was like really low grade production, but
It was good.
such a good call out on the background.
That's literally what it's giving me right
How
now.
long did the show last?
A long time, right?
Yeah,
On
I think-
MTV.
Yeah, many seasons. Yeah, some late night.
What?
I guess I stopped watching TV around that point.
In like 2004. I'm just kidding.
All right.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, Lindsay, thank you for being on here and agreeing with Maya and watching Silent Library. It's fun.
It's a great call out. Thanks for having me.
You're moving soon.
I am.
Are you excited?
Of course. I think, tossing yourself into the fire, trying something new, and kind of leaving behind something you've known for a while is exhilarating, a little scary, but, sometimes like you feel like your life's ending, and then it's just like only beginning. So I feel like that's really where this is at.
Good.
Yeah.
You ready for New York?
I am. Whether
You
it
sure?
whether it chews me up and spits me out, or like welcomes me with open arms, we'll find out. But I'm excited. I like to like people. I like to go out and find a new routine and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of exciting to like I've been here for a long time, so I'm in that same motion of doing the same stuff all the time. So
Yeah.
having a change up, just a classic change up.
Where else have you lived?
Los Angeles, Denver, Austin, Bloomington, Indiana. I grew up in St. Louis. Been around.
Indiana.
Yeah, went to Indiana.
I mean, like when you were naming off places, I was like, cool. What?
Well, I went to school there,
Okay.
So Bloomington, Indiana is like huge it's like we're ranked like one of the top 10 college bars in the country by like Playboy magazine or something crazy when I was there. So
Fuck yeah.
it was a party. I mean, people are like, what did you do there? And it's like, I learned how to like properly drink, which isn't like, I don't know. Sorry, Indiana.
But did you learn how to properly drink?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of people that went there had never drank before, and that showed. They would like get there freshman year, and you like one night I found some dude just like in the courtyard or whatever, and he's just like laying on the ground like pissed drunk, and like outside like near a bush, and I'm like, why is this dude alone? And I like went down there, like ended up getting him some water, like took him back up to I like got him wherever he was going. I like took me forever to like figure out where I need to go. And like I would like run into him here and there, like later on in school. And he would always just be like, I really appreciate you. Like that was a noble move to help me. And I was like, yeah, like this kid's never drank before, like in a social setting. So, I mean, I had some experiences before I went to school, but like, you get there and it's like if you're smart, you act right, which is not getting too hammered in the wrong places and like, just watching your intake. So yeah, lots of people.
Well, congratulations on surviving that in Indiana.
Thank you. I'm grateful. It was a good pat on the back when I graduated.
Did you bring that knowledge here with you?
I think I did. I think, drinking culture, there's different types of drinkers, right? Like the people that go out and like routinely get sloppy and loud and annoying. And then there's the people that go out and have fun and know when it's time to like calm down or like drink some water and stuff like that. And like, if you can find your personal like level of fun, then like it's the best, right? But then you just see other people acting like a fool around you all the time, and it's like, how old are we? Like, shouldn't we know by now how to drink? Shouldn't we? I mean,
Should,
arguably.
but that's not for everybody.
Yeah,
It takes people a long time to realize that sometimes that the party is not for them.
Yeah, for sure, and that's okay. But I just, whenever I see people that like routinely get twisted the same way, I'm like, you don't seem like you're having fun, and I don't think any of us are having fun. So that's just kind of where I stand on that.
So drinking in that environment versus now, you recently just joined the service industry for the first time.
Sure did.
It's a different style.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
Joining the service industry once your brain is like fully developed must be weird as fuck.
Yeah, it's been interesting. It's just, it's a lot of hard work. It's like some positions more taxing than others, but nonetheless, you're working in a place of alcohol and sometimes not the best people, not the people you work with, but just the people that are coming in. So,
And you say different positions because you're working multiple jobs and different positions at those jobs.
that's correct. Yeah. So like, joining the industry, I was like trying to figure out best way in, I guess, and how long I was trying to stay. But everybody's got to start, people are like, you should lie on your resume. And I'm like, if somebody tossed me behind a bar as a bartender, I would be like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, they're going to see through that shit immediately.
I know. And so I don't even like, no, I couldn't. So I went in and, I said straight up, I don't have experience. I have a TABC. I've got Texas food handler. But I was like, I don't have any experience. But if you teach me how to do anything, I'd be happy to do it for you. All the places were not hiring that I had gone into. And then I left my resume there with like all of my like tech experiences on it. So, not related to the industry. And I got like emails later on, or I got a call just saying like, hey, we have some position, or some shifts doing this, some shifts doing that from another place. And the last place was a third and different position. So between like working a door and bar backing and now serving at like a bar restaurant, like it's been interesting to see the difference. And
Did you think you were going to ever get offered a door girl job?
no, I didn't. I was like super excited about it because like, in my old, tech job, like all you do is you just like talk to people about business all the time. And like, it's so like impersonal and like not, you don't get to like really like learn about people, talk about things that are not that. So I was like really excited because I'm like, oh, I get to see like all different kinds of people and like talk to them for a second and all this kind of stuff. So no, I didn't think I would, but I was like really excited. And I didn't realize how many people would try to come into a bar without an ID or with an expired ID. I think it's like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, do you know how many people try to do that?
Honestly, no. Like I never really thought about that.
It's shocking.
Are they obviously underage or they just don't have a valid ID?
Oh no, it's not even underage people. Like I've seen the least amount of fake IDs, but the amount of people that just like are clearly old enough, but like just don't have an ID at all on them. And I think just from like a TABC perspective, like protecting myself and like just instruction from.
When you ask them why they don't have their ID or where it is, what do they say?
They can't believe I won't let them in.
I mean, it's the law, but you're also new and very to the book right now. So that it makes sense to,
like I'm just trying to protect, I don't want to be the reason why, a place gets, whatever. I don't even know. I was just like, it's better safe than sorry, but I'll tell you, some people just don't take it very well. Other people completely understand. And I mean, I'm always like, hey, there's like 15 other bars at least like right near us that like probably won't care. So like trying to make their life easier. I'm like, but you just can't stay here.
Has anyone cussed you out?
I not from denying them, because I'm always like really nice about it. I'm like, hey, I'm really sorry. Like, this is just like, I just can't. I really don't make the rules. And, you know, I try to at least lead them to the next place that they can go where they're not going to have that issue. But, you know, I've had crazy, you know, that's not a good word. People that are unhomed come up to the bar, like up to the front, and like just creating kind of chaos in the patio. and they have cussed me out. Yes, that has happened. And I was like, please, you know, leave the establishment. And it went something like, fuck you, I don't want to hear your voice anymore. And then threw the bag he brought onto the property just over a fence. And
the homeless guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was you know, and like inside the bartenders, there's like a camera so they can see the front door. And like after that, all that happened, like the bartender came out and he's like, first crackhead? And I was like, yeah.
They cuss people out so good though.
He like
so
spit
good
too. I was like, I'm just gonna stay like fair distance. Just be like, I completely understand, man. You're not having a good day, but like, please keep it moving.
So you've never lost your ID or had it go expired?
So I have, but as the good citizen that I am, I was carrying around a passport or an alternative form of ID.
So you've never been short an identification before?
I like not other than forgetting it at home, and to which case I've gone home or like just picked somewhere else to go if somewhere it's like, hey, no. And especially being in that role now, it's like you realize more. It's like people just stop being goofy. Somebody tells you something, just like go do it.
Yeah, you learn some life responsibility when you work in the service industry.
I believe it. I mean, I'm seeing it firsthand now.
Yep. What about you, Myha? Have you ever lost an ID and tried to go to a bar or had an expired one?
I've lost my ID a million times. The only time that I've like lost it and went to a bar though is I just showed up at the bar and my friend already didn't have her ID and we printed her a paper one. We didn't think it was going to work. We were like freshly 21. And then I showed up and I didn't even have mine either. And I was like, oh shit, I lost my ID. But besides that, I had an expired ID as my fake. It was my manager's old ID forever. And it didn't cause me any problems from the time I was like 19 until 21.
Yeah, I was going to ask if anyone had a fake ID as well.
I had the best fake ID in the world.
Yeah, I did.
You think the police are going to get you now?
Well, I would use my sister's ID for a little bit. And then I like went ahead and just got a really shitty fake Illinois license and was using it in like ID and was using it in Missouri, like near the border of Illinois. So I was like, looking back, I'm like, that was pretty ballsy. But
You're smart.
yeah, I like used it more to like purchase alcohol than I like used it to like go to places, if that makes sense. Like I wasn't like going out to bars per se. I was just like buying liquor to like have a little house party at my friend's place.
Wow, that used to scare me more, like going into liquor stores.
Yeah, I don't know what my I don't know
Like the thought
why
process.
I thought. Yeah, I don't know why I thought that was less bad.
Because they check way harder.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like that's when Four Loko was like original. You know, things were a little crazy then.
I've never had a fake. And I was getting into liquor stores at a very young age in some bars.
Yeah,
They were just saying yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I even went to I got hammered at a Longhorn Steakhouse at the bar once. I was like 17.
How'd you get home?
My friend was a server there. He
That's
wanted to get booze afterwards, so he drove me to the liquor store. And when I got out, apparently I just lost it, just sick everywhere.
Oh no.
Or something like, or I couldn't. Maybe I wasn't sick, but I couldn't even stand up straight. Like I couldn't do anything. And I lost my phone that night and all this stuff
At a Longhorn Steakhouse.
at the liquor store afterwards.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was it like a galleria or something? I mean, like, was it like, we're talking like, how big was this place?
No, it's like, so we were at Longhorn. He got
Mhm.
off of work, and then we drove down to this liquor store.
Mm-hmm.
And then
But where would the phone go
Yeah, I got
at the liquor store?
I don't know, it was a shady ass liquor store.
Oh.
I don't know. Like, it was dark when you pulled up.
Fair.
I mean, if he wanted, liquor that bad, he shouldn't have overserved you at his Longhorn Steakhouse.
It wasn't him. He was a server. He wasn't a bartender.
Oh, so you were at the
I was
bar.
at the bar
Yeah.
with a guy that is now still my friend today, but he was serving me some fucked up stuff because he knew I was young. He was like, all right, this kid. Just fuck him up.
Sugar.
So like, no, it was like rusty nails
Ew.
and shots of Sambuca, like mixing all types of stuff that I had no business doing.
That's disgusting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds horrible.
And
was
wait,
bad.
your friend was going to drive you to a liquor store where you still didn't have an ID.
Yeah, that sounds sketch.
But
Crazy idea.
he knew, the guy at the liquor store knew that my friend was underage, but didn't know that I was.
I mean, did he escort you in? Did you secure the bag? Like, what happened?
No.
He didn't make it.
Oh, you didn't even make it in.
No.
Oh.
So he went, my friend of mine, dumbass, he went inside and was like, hey, Justin's outside.
What?
Can we still get some alcohol? And he came out to see me and he was like, no, like I can't, if you don't have your ID, I can't. And he's clearly not coming inside. So
Wow.
my
He
friend
really
was-
wanted
yeah,
the things
Yeah.
you'll do, right? Wow.
that's my only crazy story about that.
One time we went through like those barns where you can drive through, like a drinking barn.
Oh, yeah.
Me and my friend from high school. And I think we were 17. And all she had was her college ID. And she just told the lady, she was like, this is all I have. Like, I'm so sorry. And the lady was like, well, what year were you born? And she was like, 1972. And it worked.
No.
Yes.
No.
We got beer for this little party we were going to, and I was like, bitch, 1972. She was like, I think that's my dad's birthday. And I was like, okay, let's just keep going. Badass though.
I think the law here, that was Texas, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think the law here is that, like, if somebody asks you if you're over 21 and you
Mhm.
say yes, like, you can legally be.
It means that you're not TABC. Like if you're a sting operation, if you say, are you 21 and you're with TABC, you have to tell me like
Oh.
if you're underage or not. They can't lie, but you also have to ask to see their ID.
Oh, okay, yeah. See, I'm still learning the ropes.
You're getting there though.
Yeah, I mean, slowly but surely.
So on to one of the main reasons why you're here. You've experienced a few interesting things already in your new career in the service industry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would like to talk about you couldn't find something in a walk-in.
Oh gosh. Yeah. So, being in the industry I was before, we didn't have walk-ins. Only walk-ins we had was like walking into a meeting, in a room like this. But I learned very quickly at one of my jobs what a walk-in was and how to access it, and from the outside, I should say. And like, depending on where I was working, it was like, what lives in here and like, where does it live in here? So I went back there. I was like looking for some type of, I think it was like lime juice or like lemon juice or something to like refill one of the, something for a bartender. And I like go back there and I'm looking, but every time I go in, I like, open the door from outside. And when I get inside, I like close it just enough where it's like not open, but I don't like close it all the way where it's locked. So I like go in, I'm like looking for it, can't find it. So I like go out, find the manager. He comes in there and he looks. We're both looking. He can't find it. So he walks out and I'm still just kind of like shuffling through stuff. And about 30 seconds later, I like get up and I'm like, all right, like it's not in here. And I like go to like open the door and it's fully locked. And I like am having a full-blown panic attack about the fact that I'm now stuck in a walk-in with no phone, no anything. There's like enough beer and like food to hold me over, but I'm like having this whole thought that I'm gonna be in there for like days, that like no one else is gonna come to the walk-in to get me. I like heart sunk to my asshole. Like I panicked. Like I really had like the beginning motions of a panic attack. And I'm like looking all around and I like notice like behind the like plastic shades that are like, whatever they call them, that hang down, there was like a little button. I didn't know you like had to push it. Like I pushed it and like it unlatched, and I'd go out there and I'm like, oh my God, like I can't believe I was just stuck in there. And I like go and close it, and I go in to talk to the manager. I'm like, why you gotta do me like that? And he's like, what? And I was like, you just locked me in there. And he was like, oh man, sorry, really? How long were you in there? Like, were you really panicked? And I was like, dude, this isn't funny. I'm terrified.
You're also like breathing hard.
I'm like literally heart rate's up. Like my watch is like, you good, bro? I'm like, I'm okay. Yeah, that was a learning experience. I also learned that like all walk-ins are different. So like, it's completely different than the other two places I've worked where like, it's just the way you access them is just different. So now I know, and I can get out of a walk-in safely.
Do you think you're traumatized by walk-ins now?
They kind of freak me out in the first place. Reason for that is like, I can't I can't decide if it smells good or if it smells rotten.
What kind of fucking walk-ins are you going in?
I don't know. There's like all sorts of random stuff in there. I don't, whatever. And they just, I don't know. It feels like there's like, this is like where you would hide a dead body, I don't know. I'm getting used to it. Like the kegs are a cool part of it, but that's pretty much it.
Just the kegs.
Just the kegs and the fruit.
I've actually never been in one where you have to push a button to like get out, so I'm glad you mentioned this.
I hope you never have to.
Yeah, that's some new age shit right there.
Yeah, it's a newer spot too. So like,
And it smells funny in there?
no. Yes.
That's not good.
Well, I mean, it's just a lot of different things are in there, right? So it's like not that it like smells funny because there's like a bunch of different stuff stored in there. That's like, nothing's like out of date or like anything. It's just like a lot of random things in there. So it's like all those smells together is
like the dead body in there is like stinking it up.
100%. I'm like, I wonder what's behind that. How long's that been there? Like, oh shit. Like that kind of thing.
So you brought up beer.
Mm-hmm.
You had enough beer to survive.
Yeah. There was beer in there.
What kind of food?
Mainly like fruits and like herbs.
You're gonna eat like maraschino cherries all night or something.
Some celery and some IPAs. Hold you over.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like,
Not bad.
doesn't sound horrible. if I had like, I went straight from like, nobody's ever coming back here to like, how long will I survive in here? Like, which is just, like, obviously somebody else was gonna be like, where's Lindsay?
Or
anybody
need
seen
something?
her? I
Be
know.
like, oh, I need a lime.
You know what? Probably that before wondering where the F I was. So
You should be able to turn the fan off inside as well if you were stuck in there for a while.
no, I mean, like, mind you, it's like hot. It's super hot here. So like, I mean, it felt good. Like I wasn't worried about like freezing to death.
That would have been first on my list.
Oh, nah. It was fine.
Okay.
That wasn't like the first thing was like, how do I live off of what the contents of this place is?
And how long were you in the game when this happened to you? Like 2 weeks?
Like not even. Yeah, like fresh.
Okay.
That didn't scare you off?
No.
Now you just take your phone in the walk-in.
You have no idea. That is exactly what I was doing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'm gonna be a good worker. I'm like not gonna carry my phone with me and like just put everything in my bag. And after that happened, I was like, yeah, no.
We all start that way. We're all like, no, I'm gonna do everything by the book. And
Yeah.
after a couple weeks.
Yeah, it was.
Now half the staff where I work like hides in the walk-in.
Yeah, I hear that's where people cry. I might have done it now once or twice, but that's a good spot to cry.
It is.
People
Yeah.
do like to cry in the walk-in. I've never done anything like that.
I mean, I'm not going to
What?
say something.
Go ahead.
mean.
Go ahead. Fucking say it. It's okay.
Do you cry at work ever?
Never had.
Okay, so then that's why you've never cried in a walk-in.
Imagine he's like, yes, but I cry in dry storage.
I know.
So.
Literally, I prefer to do it, yeah. in dry storage.
I guess the walk-in kind of, you don't expect people to go in there and it kind of cools you out. That's why people pick that spot.
Yeah.
But I've just never understood that.
People will vape in there.
It's not all they do in there.
No.
Oh, geez.
Mm-mm. That's the best seat in the house.
Should I start knocking before I walk into the walk-in?
Announce yourself.
I would say yes.
I'm
Jiggle
coming
the
in.
handle.
I would say
I
yes.
feel like that's like pretty. It's like a good practice, best
Yeah.
practice now. I'm gonna start doing that.
Yeah.
You also experienced, there's a couple different things you experienced, and it was, one of them was airing out your regulars laundry a little bit there.
Yeah, that was
This is a good one.
So
I like
this
one.
is this was just like, I think I'm just being like nice at the door. So we have this regular, he comes in and he's like comes in earlier in the day and say what's up. He's the sweetest guy in the world. He goes inside and he's sitting there and then he leaves a little bit later. And about a couple hours later, I'm still working and he comes back up and he's there with his wife. And I was like, "Hey, welcome back." And he was like, "I wasn't here today." And I was like, "Oh yeah, no. I meant like just from the last time I saw you, like last week." And then I was like, "I'm just digging a grave right now." I was like, "Yeah, no, just yeah." And I was really quickly like, "Never doing that again." Like never.
I feel like he could have given you a warning, though.
I mean, I'm new, I guess, but I'm just thinking, I'm being like, "Yeah, welcome back. Like, good to see you again." And I think he taught me without me having to say the words that maybe don't do that. So now I don't do that.
For that one,
I get
honestly, I don't think you did anything wrong.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with no.
I mean, he was like, the way he said it was like kind of like with the sarcasm. Like he wasn't like actually mad at me, but it was just like this, that's weird. Like I wasn't here. And I was like, yeah, that's right.
Did it make you so curious though? Like, why could you not be here 3 hours ago?
Well, I later, I later found out, I guess a week later he was at the bar and I guess his wife drove by on the way home from work and saw his car there and he was supposed to be at home or whatever. Yeah. So I was like, okay, so this runs deeper than just me messing that up. But
That was his last strike.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but I was just like, okay, I'm gonna stay out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in general you didn't do anything wrong there. Just so you know, even though you're still new at this. I think that saying welcome back is pretty nice and it's a normal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was just more so minding the thought of me just being like, "Oh yeah, welcome back." Just thinking more about maybe just say hi. Come inside.
Nah, I feel like you're gonna end up saying it a million more times because it's so
100%.
normal.
It is.
I just say it to people that I see every week or whenever I'm working, and they come back, I'm like, "Oh, welcome back."
And regulars like to be treated like regulars, so someone could be mad that you act like you don't remember that they were just here.
Oh my God, there's this one girl that comes in every Sunday, I think, or whatever, when I was working the door. And I don't, for whatever reason, I couldn't remember her. And so I would check her ID and she would be finally the seventh time, she was like, "Do you really have to see it every week?" And I was like, "I thought you looked familiar." She's like, "You check my ID every Sunday." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So it's "I'm really sorry." And so she it's true. And she's one of our neighboring, she works at a neighboring place, which makes it even worse. I was like, "Oh God." Yeah. So now I remember her.
If you saw her right now, would you recognize her?
Yes, I would. Because she takes part in another story that I have.
I wouldn't feel bad about that, though. It's you're using a different part of your brain at that point in time.
Yeah.
And you're not used to using that yet, I would think.
Yeah, there's just some people that are, this sounds so bad, more memorable,
I have regulars
True.
that come in, and they've been coming in for a year now, and I don't fucking know who they are.
Yeah.
I know what they drink,
Yeah.
but pulling up their first or last name, they always tell me.
Yeah.
Because they know I don't give a fuck.
That sounds about right.
We just don't have conversations like that. Just "Hey, what's up? Bucket of beer and this sandwich." Cool. That's it.
Yeah. And then you're like, "Last name?"
They tell me, I don't ask anymore.
See, I mean,
So.
I think that's a good line, a barrier between, you and the regulars. I think, one of the bartenders told me, they're like, don't befriend people so quickly. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm learning that. I was like, worked remote for years where I was like inside and saw nobody. So I'm like, people.
I mean, don't take it to a personal level, but I think be who you are.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm bad at it. I'm friends with all the regulars. I'll be outside of work with them. We fight, like it gets deep.
Okay, yeah. See,
Don't do
Well,
that.
that's the Motley Crew over there in the bowling alley. So.
yeah, I'll take like a leaning more towards your side, but not fully asking regulars their last name every week, and we'll lean more on that side. But I would say somewhere in the middle. I don't want to be fighting with regulars. It sounds horrible.
It's like a friendly fight.
It sounds kind of fun.
And it is.
Outside the bowling alley? I don't know.
Oh no, like it's like a fight, like at the thing. I'm like, no, like I'm not talking to you this week.
No.
There was another bartender I worked with, and a lot of the guys that I'm referring to would go to her, and she got let go. So now they come to me.
Oh.
So like I saw them and I know what they drink, but I didn't really know them. So it's
Mm.
like, I guess I could adjust and get more acclimated with them. But
I mean, what's the point?
Make more friends.
You think it like helps tip money if you're like friendly?
Yes.
with them, no, I think that they're like the 22-25% kind of guys. And
Oh.
that's just how they are.
All right, bringing Wessex to East.
Why do you keep saying that? There's money spent on East
I don't
without being
know. No
from the
22,
West.
25 percenters. Places I've worked.
That's all I get.
Wow.
Oh shit.
Maybe I should start wearing a black hat and not talking to anybody.
Yeah. And not knowing anyone's name.
Yeah, just like, can you give me that last name for the 1500th time?
I told you I don't ask anymore. They just tell me.
All right, like you set the rules.
I
down.
set the pace. They get it.
All right,
You know, you're still new at this.
I am. I'm listening. I'm taking notes.
Are you?
I think so.
I don't know.
Imagine she goes back to work tomorrow and you're like tough as fuck all of a sudden.
I got my hat, like black shirt, my black hat, just like looking down at people, being like,
This
What
hat's
you want?
navy blue, by the way.
Ooh, navy blue and black.
Just so you know.
debatable.
That's fine. Not here to talk about hats, I guess.
Okay.
Do you think that you're going to stay connected to any of these regulars that you do have before you leave?
Probably not. No, but it's like, cause it's really, it's mainly just I don't have any of their numbers. I don't need any of their numbers. That's for sure. I see them when they're there. We talk about what they're doing with their day. I follow up on things they've told me last week, that kind of stuff. And like, it's just kind of harmless on that front. It would never, at least at the gig that I worked work the door. It's not like that. However, one of the restaurants where I'm serving, I was I was the regular for like 2 years there before I ended up working there. So like I had everybody that worked there's number and like hung out with them outside of work. And then I kind of like made the transition into working there, and it was like all kind of just made sense because I was already like super friendly with everybody. So I don't know. I think not from this side of it, no.
Do you think you make more friends or build more relationships as a server or a door person?
That's an interesting question.
Because I know they're two different places.
Yeah. It's the opportunity to to talk, right? So it's like when it's a little bit slower when I'm serving, I have the opportunity to kind of like schmooze more with my tables and like get to know them more. And some of them are other regulars that like I used to see all the time when I was going in there. So that's like, if it's slower, I have the chance to like really like kind of cultivate and like talk to them and like learn a little bit more. When it's really busy, you're just running so quickly that like there's not a lot of personal aspect to it. So at the door, it's just a lot slower pace. So you do have more time. Like all the regulars like to sit like right near where where we sit at the door, and you get to just really sit there and like talk to them. You get to hear what they're talking about and stuff like that. So I don't know. It just really depends, I would say, on the place and the time.
I could see you building more relationships on the door,
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
especially the venue as well.
I mean, it's been fun. People are very nice. I think it's like, people are it can be a little scary over there. By that, I mean, it just like sits a little bit farther back from the road. And And it's just like, there's not like big signs and like something like really drawing you in. And so like, I never really knew what the clientele would be like over there, but the customers are super nice. I mean, the regulars that we do have are some of the nicest people I've ever met. Some come in and like do art at the tables. Some just come in and bring their friends. Some, we've got like these like brothers and their mom that come in. Like, we got all sorts of interesting characters, but nonetheless, everyone's really nice.
There was a very interesting character that stopped into the bar that had a date also.
Yeah, this was an interesting thing that happened. So, the bar that I work, one of the bars I work at, kind of has like a specific person that like it draws in, you know, like a certain character type. And let's just say that it's not preppy. So when you see somebody that's like, you know, dressed really preppy or whatever coming in, like no read on you on that way. I'm just like always like, oh, interesting choice. Like there's a lot of options of bars. and I love that you came to, you know, spend the afternoon with us. So this guy comes in, and he's, you know, he parks his car in the parking lot and walks in. He's there for a little bit. You know, I'm running, you know, glassware like in and out. So like I like go in and he's talking to some girl at the bar, and he's like kind of macking on her. And I think he just has this kind of demeanor where like apparently he's been in before. This was the first time I was seeing him, but anywho, he's macking on this girl. About like, you know, I put the glasses in the back. I go back and sit at my chair and outside, and all of a sudden like this like girl rounds the corner into the parking lot, then like farther up towards like the front of the bar. And the way the bar is set up, it's like kind of interesting because there's like the patio on the front and the door isn't where you would expect it to be. So like a lot of people will just be like, you know, you check their ID and they're like, where do I go? Like the door's right there. That's another thing. But anywho, she walks up and she's like, not quite to me. She's not engaging with me. She's just looking at the patio to see. It looks like she's looking for someone. And part of me is like, this girl definitely doesn't know that there is an inside part to the bar. But I was like, I'm not going to speak up until she approaches me. So she looks around, nothing, she leaves. Like 5 to 7 minutes later, she comes back up and she starts walking up and I'm like, hey, just so you know. And like, mind you, she's wearing like a mini skirt with like this like super low cut top and like a little hat, you know, like a little hat with like her little fancy like mini purse, which I don't understand those. Like just like, you know, like little heels, like just like totally like a different vibe than the people we, you know, that we typically see in our bar. And she comes up and I'm like, oh, just so you know, like there's an inside part, like if you don't see who you're looking for out here. And she's like, oh, okay. So I like check her ID and she goes in, and I would say like 30 seconds later, she just comes out, just like pieces out, goes down, turns left off the property, just gone. And like maybe 30 seconds after that, the guy who I was initially talking about comes out of the bar and he's like standing right kind of near the door and he's like on his phone. And like, it kind of looks like he was like looking for someone. So I was like putting 2 and 2 together with like how they were dressed and kind of like what I was seeing. I was like, oh, were you, you know, trying to meet a girl here, you know? And he was like, yeah, where'd she go? And I was like, she left. I mean, I don't know where she went. She's just not here anymore. And so he's like looking at his phone and he was like, oh shit, she texted me. I was like, yeah. And he was like, she said she doesn't like dark bars. So she went over to this other restaurant. He's like, where is that restaurant? I was like, yeah, it's just right down here. And I'm like, gosh, somebody's saying like, you know, basically I don't like a dive bar. I'm like, but you like hanging out in dive bars? Like, that's a red flag. I'd be like, I don't know if this is going to work because I like to sit inside these places. Anyways, he's like, hey, if I go over there, can I leave my car for a second? We typically do not let that, but he had been in there being a patron. So I was like, if you're really just going over for a second, it's not a big deal. So he goes over there and about 10 minutes later, he comes back and he just goes, if you had to ask me if I wanted to stay there for another moment or smash my head against a brick wall, I'd take the brick wall. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, that's horrible. I'm so sorry. he was like, yeah, I just told her my car was getting towed, so I had to come back. So I'm like, all right. So then he proceeds to go back inside, and he's now talking to this girl again that he had been talking to before the other girl came. And they decide they're going to like start playing some pool inside. And all of a sudden I like see the girl that had like didn't like the dive bars. She like all of a sudden I see her like peek her head kind of like around the corner into the parking lot. And I'm like, this is where I just like should have just let it. Yeah, I should have just let it pan out itself. But I like went inside. I was like, yo, by the way, I don't know if she knows what kind of car you drive, but like if you told her, because he had told me he told her that his car was getting towed. So I was like, by the way, if she knows what kind of car you drive, she's looking in the parking lot essentially. So he was like, oh no, we're good. Everything's fine. Whatever. So I'm like, okay. So I like go back and sit out there. So like she like then randomly just like comes back and she's like on the phone, but like holding the phone, like, when you're like trying to talk, like we're trying to talk, I'm on the phone, but I like put it down like this. I'm like, hey, like, so, but like somebody's on the phone. I'm like, what's going on with that? So she's like all these bags. I'm like, what's going on here? And she was like, did my friend's car get towed? Like, was there a tow truck here? And I was like, no. And she's like, well, did you tow the truck? Like his car or like whatever? Like, is he here? Like, was there a truck here? Like, I need to know. And I was like, we tow people's car if they leave the premises. Yes, we do that. But no, there was not a tow truck just here on the property. And she was like, so like, is he here? And I was like, I'm not sure. I knew damn well he was inside. I go, I'm not, and he's playing pool now with this other girl. But I was just like, I'm not sure, but you're welcome to, go back in and take a look. So she like walks in the door. And of course, like first thing I do is I'm like, grab my bag and like a glass off the table. I like have to walk in behind her because I want to see what's going to happen, And I like walk around the bar and I like put stuff back there. Like the girl he's playing pool with is just like standing in the back wide eyed. And then he's having this conversation with the girl that just walked in. And like, it's kind of like, you could tell she's like concerned or like whatever. And he's like, just kind of like talking to her. I'm like trying to read, think about what they're saying to each other as I watch it unfold. And then she just like storms out and leaves. And, I like finish doing the stuff in the back and I like come out and I'm like, how'd that go for you? And he's like, well, I just told her I wasn't interested. I was like, all right, guy, heard that. And then he proceeded to like hang out with the other girl at the bar for a while and they like continued on to like another spot for like the rest of their date. So it was, an interesting scenario where I was like, I think I'm just going to let people... I liked watching the drama unfold, but at the same time, I was like, none of my business.
I thought you handled it pretty well.
I mean, if somebody's gonna be like, was there a truck here? Was there I'm like, I just stated the facts. No, but we do tow cars. And is he here? I'm not sure. You can check.
Yeah, I think all of that was right.
Okay, thank you.
For sure.
Thank you.
No, seriously.
I really appreciate that.
I don't know what else you could have said without like now you're involved in it.
I was like, he's inside talking to another girl. You want to go check it out?
Because if you had opened
girl.
opened that door, then when she came out, she would have had a long conversation with you, because you would have been her friend at that point.
No, I don't think anything about this woman was like, no.
She would have been venting to you afterwards.
Okay.
You can tell. She
was on the phone. I don't know. She was just going to pull that phone back and be like, I have shit to say.
She's probably calling him.
She could have been. I mean, I was like, the whole thing was just so strange. And it was just like, if I was going to go meet somebody for a first date at a dive bar and I like looked up the place before, like whatever, like I would be like, hey, by the way, like that's not really a vibe I like or whatever. I mean, I love dive bars, but I think it's a great first date spot. I mean, it's super dark. There's not a window in sight or anything like that, but like there's darts, there's pool. I mean, it's chill.
Is the dartboard back?
There's 3.
Yeah, it's back.
Ooh.
What do you mean it's back?
Like the last time I was there was South by, and they had closed that off to make it a whiskey room or something.
Yeah, so that sounds about right. But yeah, other than that, they are,
Because I like darts.
They have great darts. I mean, very serious about the darts too. It's like, you give your ID for the darts, and a lot of times the darts go missing and the person comes back the next day for their ID. We make them pay $20 to get your ID back. Because, yeah, I mean, we're like, either you can go home and get the darts and bring them back to us, or you got to pay up because the darts keep disappearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's great for that. It's got a pool table. great for that. I mean, it's really lax, honestly. I think for what it is, you know.
So when you move to New York, you're going to try to stay in the service industry for a little while?
I think it's a great opportunity to like just get settled, kind of get my feet on the ground there. I mean, you know, with a little bit of experience now, I know some people that used to work in the industry here that now work in the industry there. I already have them kind of working on some, you know, just putting some feelers out there.
Some leads for you?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
why not? It doesn't hurt. So, yeah, I think it's something I'll continue to experience. I mean, to what scale? I mean, whether it's a dive bar, nicer cocktail spot, who knows? But I think something in the industry would be nice. It's just like a pivot for like getting my feet on the ground.
Myha, do you have any words of wisdom for her since you've been in the industry for a little while?
No.
0.
No, none. I just do whatever you want. Like, it's not that serious. You know how to make a citizen's arrest now. So you've got one up on me.
I mean, got my certification. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I'm putting that on the hospitality resume for sure. Like
You definitely
it's a
should.
nightlife security certification that was like ran by the state. I mean,
Yeah, that's pretty good.
that's like a leg up, you know? They're gonna be like, Texas don't matter up here. I'm gonna be like,
Okay,
well.
true.
But yeah, I mean, it was interesting, honestly. Like being the person who's like securing the perimeter of a place, right? Like having that kind of knowledge, like I was like excited to hear what they were gonna say because I was like, you know, it like debunked a lot of like things that people just regularly think about. They're like, oh, you know, this is the law and this is the law. And it's like a lot of that's like not true. And that's like what we went over was like, what is and the best way to handle it. So, I mean, really interesting if you're working a door. There's even like managers and owners there too, but it's very, very interesting training, honestly.
I also feel like if you like your serving job, you would really like a bartending job. Because like bartending is just without the people complaining about the food and everyone's can be your friend.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately that would be the goal, like for all of this, right? I've been learning kind of on the side. I have a bunch of friends that are bartenders. Several have offered to show me, like I've gone over, they show me how to properly, you know, pour a bottle, like the real kind of like the nitty gritty of like getting to know what it's like. Yeah, so I like feel grateful for that.
I will be honest with you. Bartending is 85% personality, and nobody can teach you that shit. So the stuff that they are teaching you, they can teach you some fundamentals, but you have to do it yourself, and you have to do it at a pace that is needed. That's all.
So, I mean, from a personality perspective, like, do I have a shot at this?
You're hired.
I think that you will be. I think that you will be a bartender in New York at some point in time. Yes.
It's a little daunting, but it seems exciting. You know, I mean, I don't know if I'm ready to go back to my computer quite yet.
Then don't.
Yeah, don't. I feel like you would love the social aspect of bartending for at least like a year and a half. And then you can go back.
Also, then I can go to New York and we'll do a show in New York. We'll do a session in New York.
Why not?
At the Big Apple.
Yeah, bring your big backpack. Make sure everything fits in there.
My 2 big backpacks. I need a new one.
Yeah.
You didn't see the OG.
Oh, that. Okay.
Oh, I had the leopard print.
It was a leopard print roll behind.
No.
Yeah,
Where'd you get that?
Bonnie gave me, I think it was one of her old stripper friends' bags or something like that. But everything fit in there.
100%.
Wow, I love that. So what happened to the OG?
I don't want it. I don't want the juicy couture bag. Like,
It was cute.
I use those so I could get on planes. So it was more.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
What do we want to talk about? Where the fray came from, and we'll leave that for off camera.
This one?
Yeah.
It's an old ass bag. That's all. I just need a new one.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Nice.
I don't know why you had to bring that up.
I mean, just so I don't know either.
It's like a GoFundMe. Like, okay, and segue into that, we're starting GoFundMe for new bags.
Put the number at the bottom of the little QR code.
Yeah.
Well, Lindsay, I do wish you the best of luck. I don't think you're going to need any luck. I think that you're going to do great out there.
I appreciate that.
But if you have any stories you want to share while you're out there, let me know.
Definitely.
And if you need any advice while you're out there, let me know.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
I will.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers. Bye.